Good morning. Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. Um, this is a weekend before the inauguration of Joe Biden, and we expect there to be civility and peace and a peaceful transition. That's what we hope for, and that's what we, as conservatives, stand for, regardless of what happened on January 6th in the Capitol, which more and more um, you're beginning to see that uh, there were influencers in there goading people on. Not saying that, again, what my position has been since day one. Trump should have calmed things down, but there's more to the picture than meets the eye at this point. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about addiction of habits. The most the action that is easiest to become a habit is a pleasurable action. Where am I going with this? I'm going with this progressive Democrat left platforms that we're seeing: free college education, free medicine, um, universal income, guaranteed universal income. I don't know if you saw Andrew Yang wants to be the mayor of New York City, and that's his platform. Where does all this come from, this money to fund all these things, all these programs? And, I recently gave you a quote, and you can confirm it. 10%, the upper 10% of the population pays 70% of the freight in this country, 70% of the taxes. And here we are going after the upper 10% for more. And all you're going to do is cut off the spigot, because there comes a point where you say, enough. Uh, I don't need more. I don't need more headaches. Let me cut back. I don't. It's not going to come out of my pocket. Uh, increase taxes, increase the minimum wage to $15. I own a business. I have 100 employees. I'm going to sit down and talk to my board and my family and say, you know what? We're doing well. Um, we've got a 20% extra hit to the bottom line based on all these additional expenses. I don't want to change my lifestyle. Uh, you know, I will. I want us to go and adjust. Let's look at automation. Let's look at uh, unprofitability. Let's streamline this operation. Maybe we don't need 100 employees. Maybe we need 90. As a matter of fact, my mandate is let's get down to 90. Let's cover what we need to cover. If there's a piece of the business that's not working, let's cut that piece of the business and in turn cut those employees, and life goes on. And that's what you're going to lead to, okay? It's like the premise behind all of these free things. If you really analyze the free, it's what gets you in trouble. The handout is what gets you in trouble. Obviously, the politician wants to use that as the vote buying scheme. So they promise you free, or they're going to give you universal stipend, income. They promise you this because it's not their money. They're taking it from the taxpayers' money, okay? And they're going to dole it out. But what does that create? If you really analyze the problems in this country, let's look at student debt. That's one of the big bugaboos for Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, and now Clueless Joe's being pressured into upping his proposal from 10,000 of forgiveness to 50,000 of forgiveness, and then they want it to be free. Well, let me ask you a question, okay? Is it not exactly the same thing as what we hear commercials about, and everyone is in agreement? You have to be fiscally responsible, credit card debt, how to control it, how you can handle credit card. Is this not exactly? Of course, it's the exact same thing. Because once again, what is easy to become a habit is pleasurable. What is easy? The easy path, the path of least resistance. You make $1,500 a week. You walk into a Gucci store. You walk into a Nordstrom's, you walk into wherever, and there's an item that on the shelf for 3,000, and you say, I want it, I want it, I want it. Well, the way it should work in the days of fiscal responsibility is you say, I'm going to save for it, and I am going to work hard, and when I get the money put away, I'm going to treat myself to this. Today, what is it? Credit card, put it on there. You don't feel it. Yeah, there's $3,000, there's $1,500. I'll pay it $100 a month. It'll never end. But that's how it is. Instant gratification. Well, education is the same thing if you really think about it. The way this whole gimmick started with you got to have a college degree in order to get ahead is statistics can be skewed to say whatever you want them to say. And 30 years ago, you started, 40 years ago, they started in this country with college graduates make more than high school graduates. That's true. However, what they failed to tell you is the law of supply and demand. That is true because there was far fewer college graduates. And why were there fewer? Because going to college cost money, required dedication, commitment, desire. It was not an automatic rote process where everyone goes to college even though they don't want to. The people who were in college, for the most part, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, is because they had a vision, they had a mandate, they had a calling, they had a path of what they wanted to do. As college became more of a must-have if you're going to succeed, the requirement then became, we got to make this credit card easy. And voila, the student loans. Okay? Painless, and it got people going to college, and it was what you needed to do to be successful. They didn't tell you that as more and more people got degrees, salaries would be coming down, because it's like everything else, it's supply and demand. When the pool of employees is large, the employer can afford to pay less. And that is what happened. College degrees started becoming more and more expensive because it's like when they advertise a car today, $399 a month, okay? They don't tell you how much the car costs. College degree is the same thing. Here it is, we're going to give you this loan, you're going to pay $500 a month, and you're going to be a millionaire when you're done. That's how this was sold. And a lot of people that had no interest in going to college, had no business in going to college, all they saw was, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to make six figures if I do this. Let me go through it. They had no desire to be in college. College was going through them, not in them. And what did we create? We created a whole bunch of people in debt with no advantage or opportunity of additional opportunity based on a college degree that all of a sudden everyone had. And that's where we are today. In the old days, when someone wanted to go to college, guess what? They worked for it. They got scholarships. They dedicated themselves. It was their goal. They worked the family resources, and you went to a college that you could afford. You started with a junior college for a couple of years. While you were working, you put money away to get your bachelor's. Maybe instead of an additional 2 years, you had to figure it out to 3 or 4 years to stretch it out so finances could cover. And you worked, and there was a sense of achievement because you had a goal, you had an objective, and you felt it. You felt the sacrifice, you felt the effort, and you felt a satisfaction for having it done. Today, these kids get student loans, they go to party schools, they pay ridiculous tuitions, okay? They don't go to junior colleges. They don't go to FIUs of the world. They go to party schools, expensive schools. It's the in vogue thing to go away to college. Okay, it's keeping up with the Joneses for the parents. Okay, and these are kids that don't need to be in college. Many of them don't want to be in college. All they're doing is accumulating debt. And we promote it, and the politicians promote it. And now all of a sudden, guess what? It's a problem. And guess what? We have to bail them out. No, okay? I know plenty of my kids. My kids are all A students. My kids all got scholarships, academic scholarships. My kids all worked during college. And you know what? They are doing perfectly fine. They have their degrees, and they don't owe anybody a penny. Okay? Because there's ways to get where you want to get, and there's nothing like working for something because you appreciate it. When you don't work for it, you don't appreciate it. And like I said, a lot of this is facilitated by that credit card mentality. Charge it. Put it on the plastic. Take the student loan. I'll pay it off monthly. I'll be a millionaire. And then voila, they find out it doesn't work that way because there's too many people competing because everyone got the same memo and everyone's following the same trail or road to riches. And it turns out that they're probably following a road to indebtedness. So that's where. So what makes you think, based on what you've seen happen with credit cards, what you've seen happen with student debt, okay, what makes you think that it's not going to be exactly the same thing with a universal income? The easiest action to become a habit is a pleasurable one. Under Andrew Yang, if they guarantee somebody $2,000 a month, guess what? Many people are going to say, yeah, I'm not going to be rich, but guess what? I don't have to get up early. I don't have to put up with anybody. I'm going to get my $2,000. I'll do a little side hustle, a little gig here or there, and pick up a few extra $100 a week, cash, which Uncle Sam will never see a penny of it, which says that's not money that goes towards funding that universal income. So you're taking more and more people off the tax rolls, okay? And you're promoting that gig underground economy to supplement the universal income. And you are giving the pleasure of not having to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, not having to be at an office or be at a job or be behind a desk or be at a phone till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, of answering to a boss, deadlines, expectations of production. None of that exists. You got your check. Guess what you're creating? You're creating a parasite. That's where all this is going to. And why is this so important to the politician? Because that parasite becomes dependent on the host. And without the host, the parasite can't live. Little by little, that parasite becomes so used to living off the host that they won't give it up. It's an addiction. It's like now when I'm asking people to boycott the very enterprises that are destroying this country, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, okay? Amazon. We can't do it. I'll tell you why. Because people are addicted to Facebook. People are addicted to Twitter. I'm guilty. I'm sitting here on YouTube. I'm going to remedy this. I've gotten rid of everything else, and not now. I started 2 years ago getting rid of everything else. because I saw this coming. I'm coming off of YouTube, and that's in the works now. But I I will tell you that the big media uh, companies, the big tech companies, uh, feel that you are the parasite and that you can't live without the host. And until we show them that we can live without the host, they will control your life. It's time to break the habit, the pleasurable habit. It's time to stand up and create your own life. It's time to understand that an Alexander Ocasio-Cortez doesn't have the knowledge or the wisdom to lead us in anything. And I use her as an example because you see her. What experience does she have? What could she possibly say that is going to take a 50, 60-year-old person who's lived life experiences, who has raised a family, who has funded a career, a lifestyle? What is she going to bring to the table in the sense of political leadership? Now, you tell me, she's an Elon Musk or she's some kind of innovator or something. Yes, that, there's young people that are killing it in technology and everything, and that's different. But this thing about leading a nation, this thing about leading a people, this thing about being a voice of reason and of government for people, she has no qualification. And more we're getting people like her on both sides of the equation, people in their late 20s, early 30s, who are there to tell you how to live. Okay? No. There's absolutely no way that that makes any sense. There's absolutely no way that we should accept that. And there's absolutely no way that in any way, shape, or form she brings anything to the table in that regard. We need, at this point, to realize that America is not committees. She came on yesterday or 2 days ago and said she wants to start a committee to oversee the media. Imagine the media, the mainstream media that is so liberal, and all of a sudden they're hearing one of their darlings saying that they want to start a committee to oversee the media. You know where there's a lot of committees? AOC. Do you know where there's a lot of committees? Cuba, Venezuela. That's where there's a lot of committees. Okay? That's the committees. You know what committees are? That shows you the ignorance of this woman and of many of these progressives. The ignorance. They don't have a clue of how they expose themselves to this criticism when they bring up committees to oversee the media, committees to oversee, to control who was in the Trump administration and investigate them, committees to investigate what goes against what they stand for. They have no clue of how much they expose themselves to play a tape of any Cuban politician, of any Venezuelan politician, and see what everything they talk about involves. There are neighborhood committees, there are food committees, there are entertainment committees, there are media committees, there are banking. Everything is under a committee, and that is for the intent of controlling and eliminating freedoms. That's where this is heading. Well, I've covered a lot. I know it's sort of a shotgun approach, but I wanted to say what was on my mind. And free is not free ever. Someone's paying for it. It's just used as a vehicle to buy your vote, to turn you into the parasite that needs the host. And it is the host that is taking the money of the taxpayer, feeding on it incessantly, gorging on it in the trough of taxpayer dollars. And believe me, what you get as free, as a stipend, those are crumbs. Those are the crumbs that fall off the plate that they don't want to eat because they're on the floor. The meat and potatoes that they're gorging on, the money from Wall Street, Main Street, from the huge contributors, you'll never see that because that's theirs. That's 100% theirs. Why do you think Wall Street has reacted the way it's reacted to the Democrats controlling government? Because they know that the spigot of dollars that's going to be turned on is going to be outrageous. And they also know that they need to take advantage of it quickly because you're going to have to pay the piper. It was different with Trump. And I know people are going to say, well, with Trump, the market went up. Yeah, it went up. You know why it went up? For fundamentally sound reasons. That's created where we are today. It's created ingenuity, technology, not technology, but advancements in technologies. It's promoted it because they knew Trump's mandate was going to be put America first, bring back jobs to America, bring manufacturing to America, incentivize Americans, bring cash from overseas back into the country, make America the focal point. That's why Wall Street reacted positively to Trump. The reason Wall Street has reacted positively to Biden is not because Biden, they're confident in what's coming down the pike. It's because they say, guess what? We've got to fast track this money that we need to make because what's coming in the next couple of years, inflation-wise, what's coming in the economy, the loss of jobs with these mandates, the devaluation of the dollar, what is coming under this print philosophy of the progressives and the lefts, led by the clueless Joe Biden and the soon-to-be president, Kamala Harris, is going to be held to pay. So they've got to stuff the coffers. Wall Street knows they have to stuff the coffers because we have, I think, less time, but most analysts tell you we have 2 years of this. I think we have maybe through 21. I don't even think it's through 21. I think by the third quarter of 21, you're going to see the kinks in the armor. You're going to see runaway inflation. And I'm not talking about what the Fed's looking for, 3%, 2.5%. I'm talking about 5-6% inflation. I'm talking about interest rates going 200-300% higher over the next 24 to 36 months. And while it'll take rates to a not ridiculous level, it is going to be rates at much higher levels than what the economy has become accustomed to for the last 10 years at least. And when that happens, because remember, everything we have now, pricing-wise, equity-wise, corporate growth-wise, everything is priced in with the capitalization of money today. 3-4% return today is deemed acceptable. 5% deemed acceptable. When you need 4 or 5% to cover the carry of money, when interest rates start going that rate, all of a sudden the capitalization rates get closer to 7, 8, 9%. That impacts the value of commodities. It impacts the value of equities. It impacts the value of everything. So if the stock market today, based on 3%, 4% being acceptable returns, is priced at 30,000 Dow, when that acceptable return on earnings becomes 7 or 8%, You figure it out. You're talking about a Dow of half, a third to a half of where it is today. I don't think it's going to get that bad, but I do tell you that what's happening today, the reaction you're seeing today on Wall Street and in corporate America is not, oh, this is great. It's, oh my God, what is coming down the pike? Let's fill the silos as quickly as possible because this is going to blow up. And you know what? If you listen to China, they're laughing because they're saying they've come out. They have come out and said, we are back in business. We will overtake America, our economy. We will become the world's greatest economy. They are saying it boldly and out loud because they know that they control Washington, D.C. There's no doubt about it. Read everything that's coming out of China. They are becoming blatant in their disdain and their outright bravado that they will surpass this country's economy in a very short period of time. And they're being outright clear that it's because of Washington, D.C., that they know they control Joe Biden. People, these are relevant and crucial claims that you need to see if I'm right or if I'm wrong in my beliefs. I open it up to tell me where I'm wrong. But I see this coming down the pike, and I see us having to take control of our futures. 75 million people voted for Trump. We cannot, at this point, take a foot off the gas pedal as far as our beliefs, our freedoms, and our liberties being something that we need to safeguard. We need to safeguard it peacefully, intelligently, and with debate and with intellect. We cannot be BLM-like in our behavior. We cannot be Antifa-like in our behavior. And we cannot be white supremacist-like what you saw January 6th in the Capitol. We cannot be that. We need to be Americans, and we need to be civil, and we need to be intelligent, and we need to be unified to fight the enemy that's out there. And that's not what we're getting at this point. From any side of the political aisle, we're not getting that. And it's time that we demand that. We need to find someone to lead this nation of Americans, not African Americans, not Asian Americans, not Latino Americans, Americans. It's over, this division, this labeling, this black colleges and Latin colleges and Asian colleges. And no, bullshit. All that is over. The day we fix this country is when we're Americans. We're not gender specific, race specific. We're not any of those things. We're just Americans. No longer is it going to be the headline, the first African American vice president, the first African American president, the first Latino president, the first Asian this, the first gay, the first transgender that. No. We're Americans. The day that happens, all these problems go away because guess what? We eliminate the hosts that need that are feeding what is becoming an increasing population of parasites. The day we're all Americans, that host gets eliminated because we're all together. We don't need we don't need them even now, even with the situation we're in now. Many people are led to believe they need them, but we don't need them. We need to eliminate those that are dividing us, those that live off of this, live off of racism, live off of the misogyny, live off of being xenophobes, homophobes. Those are the people that we need to eliminate, because America doesn't have a race problem. America doesn't have a gender problem. America doesn't have any kind of these types of problems. Yes, I'm not telling you that none of that exists in America. That exists anywhere there are human beings, because everyone has certain innate uh, prejudices that they need to overcome and work on. But this country is the least racist country on the face of the earth. And what proves that out is what I have said many, many times: the success of minorities in this country. The success of anyone who comes to this country, people who flee, risk life and limb to get here because of that opportunity. There's no doubt about it. We need leadership. We need someone. We need, in 2024, to find a person that is going to say, we are all pulling on the same side for the same goal, and nobody here is going to get benefited or disadvantaged because of anything: race, creed, gender, or sexual orientation. None of that is going to be a dividing factor. None of that is going to be mitigating or an uplifting factor. No, we're all the same. And until we accept that, and until we accept that whatever problems we have is part of life, and you got to overcome them, and you got to fight through them, and we have responsibility both for our successes and for our failures. It's not always somebody else's fault. I'm not telling you that there aren't times where, yes, you are damaged and you are wronged, and there has to be restitution and solutions for that. But believe me, the majority of what goes wrong in our lives, we create. It's been long. I've gone on a long time, but I think I wanted to say all these things. Let's start looking for that leader. Let's put America truly back where it belongs, which is the land of the free and the land of the brave and the land of the go-getters and the land of can-do and the land of self-sufficient people who don't need a handout. Handouts are the politician's weapon to control you. Thank you. Have a good day. Appreciate your time. Share this, please. Share this, please, and subscribe.